welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and like the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more content. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the second day of the fall marathon. This part is basically about Iwazumi's insecurities. The next part, however, is the true angst, which I'll definitely add trigger warnings before that video. But let's just go ahead and get to this one, and as always with the marathons, the question will be in the outro. Hajime? Iwazumi froze and felt his breath hitch. Suddenly his damp clothes felt too cold, and he felt smaller than usual. He slowly turned his head, connecting his gaze with the three baristas he fell in love with. Again, he was stuck in the same position previously, scared and alone, caught in the act. Like it was him alone at fault for something he didn't even do. He wanted to run, try to save himself the embarrassment of his crushes finding out his perfect life in such a way. He flinched, seeing Sugawara dare to inch closer, and crouched down to the ground to get to his level. His kind, loving eyes showed love and worry in the most delicate way. There was no words needed to be exchanged before the raven crumbled down in his own sorrows, quickly being scooped up in Suga's arms. It's okay. You're okay. He continued to reassure him in a gentle voice, when Okawa tilted the umbrella over the two, shielding them from the downpour. Let's get in the car. We'll take him home to get dry. Feeling so vulnerable, Iwazumi wasn't able to let go of the barista, and managed to keep some sort of contact with him. Even in the car, Okawa was in the passenger seat, reaching over to put his hand on the latter's knee, using his thumb to comfortably reassure him that everything was going to be okay. Iwazumi only noticed one thing. Their car smelled awfully a lot like coffee, but to him, the smell gave him a sense of comfort that he didn't know he needed. Somehow, he found a towel snaked around over his shoulders that partly covered his head when Suga offered him a cup of warm coffee. I haven't drunk much, but this should warm you up until we get home. He thanked him, accepting the cup and taking a small sip. He laughed bitterly, tasting that it was one of the seasonal drinks, pumpkin spiced, he guessed. He didn't laugh out of disgust or hatred, rather, he found it tasting good. Really good. He looked down at his hand that was linked with Suga's. This was what he wanted. Within a few minutes, they were at the coffee shop, with their residence just above the shop. He was given some of Daichi's clothes before pushed into the bathroom to take a shower. The reality of what happened only half an hour ago flashed in his mind, sending him spiraling into another round of sobs. He cursed, realizing he wouldn't be able to hide the evidence of his crying, which he hated. He hated how weak and vulnerable he felt. He hated crying in front of people. That wasn't something that anyone should have to see, let alone them. Are you feeling better? Iwazumi shrugged, not really having the energy to say anything. Okawa set a small cup of tea in front of him, something more suitable to settle down rather than a cup of caffeine. It was silent, awkward even. They weren't sure how to address the elephant in the room, but Iwazumi was the first to break the silence. Sorry you all had to see that. Don't apologize. We just happened to be walking by when we heard your voice. It just caught us off guard. Iwazumi grabbed the cup of tea, rubbing his index finger around the side of the cup. Was that your mother? Yeah. You gave birth to me, but you are not my mother. Was. Look, we aren't sure what happened and what led up to all of that, but please know. The barista grabbed his hand, making them lock eye contact. We are here, and we will do anything to help you. Not once had anyone said such kind words to him, and still being in the vulnerable state he was in, he felt warm, salty tears slide down his cheeks. No, don't cry. The sight broke his heart. He scooped the smaller into his arms and rocked back and forth, giving him nothing but reassurances for the future. It's okay. You're okay. This continued on the entire night until he fell asleep in Daichi's arms out of exhaustion. Sugawara came back in with more tea and their dinner from earlier. Is he asleep? He whispered, not wanting to be too loud. Daichi nodded. Yeah, it seems he wore himself out. Poor thing. He reached over, gently brushing his hair from his forehead. Should we wake him for food? Probably not. I'll just make sure he has breakfast in the morning. He probably needs the rest anyways. Daichi carefully situated Iwazumi onto one side so that he could still eat. So about his mother, I don't like her. I'm not too sure he likes that term. We don't really know her name, or anything else for that matter. Akawa smirked. Well, we'll just call her Toru! Sugawara slapped Okawa on the shoulder. I mean... Daichi! He turned around to slap him, but saw Iwazumi shuffling around in his sleep, causing him to slap his mouth shut. Quiet down, or you'll wake him. Daichi chuckled and went back to rocking back and forth to ease him back into slumber. I'm not sure what happened. He reached over to remove a stray hair on Iwazumi that Suga missed prior that had been bugging him. But we should let things go at his pace. Don't pry and push a subject. We'll let him come to us whenever he is ready. Agreed. Daichi got up, carrying Iwazumi in his arms with tender love, taking him to the couch and covering him with a blanket. Daichi stared at him conflicted, like he wasn't sure what to do. I can't really explain it, but I have this odd feeling. Whenever he was crying, I've never seen that side of him before, and I didn't like it. Not one bit. Sugawara smirked, looking at Okawa, who seemed to have the same thought with just one look. Don't worry, love. We'll make sure that never happens again. He kissed his temple, ushering him to bed. We'll pick this up tomorrow. He stole one last glance at the brunette before walking into the bedroom. Iwazumi was the first to wake up. His eyes were still swollen from the night before, but whenever he fell asleep, he felt warm and safe. Now, despite having a blanket, he felt cold and alone. His head was throbbing from all of the crying, so whenever he glanced at the open window and took in the sunshine produced by the rays of light, it sent a sharp pain in his head. Damn it. He couldn't believe he let his guard down like that either. In front of his crushes too. Crushes. He finally admitted in his thoughts that he was in fact in love with the three baristas. He could never admit it out loud, because then it would become too real. He couldn't bear that. He got up from the couch and made his way to the kitchen. The shirt fit perfectly, but the pants, well, Daichi had much longer legs than him, and those flipping thighs. The pants were definitely too big. The plus side was that the clothes smelled a lot like Daichi, which did a lot for his tense nerves. While he admitted in his thoughts that he fell in love, crushes is all that they would ever be. He knew it. The three had a history that he couldn't just barge into like that. Plus, not once had he ever thought about being poly. It took a lot for him to accept himself as a pansexual, especially after his mother's blow-up on him. He grabbed a pan and some eggs from the refrigerator. I can make them breakfast. It's the least I can do. He felt bad for wasting their time. He knew that they rarely got any downtime with the business, so he couldn't help but feel guilty for causing them trouble. He cracked the eggs and put them into a saucepan, hearing the sizzling sound. He found some sausage in the fridge, so he put those into another pan. He didn't really understand why he felt this way. In the end, wasn't everyone the same? Seeking out love? Bound in chains, just trying to be enough. Iwazumi spent his entire life trying to write the perfect story and forgetting his past. He worked nights and days to get to where he is now. He wanted to prove to the world that he was worthy of being seen, praised, of being alive. For so long, he's been afraid to show the world who he was. He isn't special, just a simple, broken man. He stirred the eggs, adding some seasonings, and flipped the sausages. For 20 years, he hid his face from the world with his picture-perfect mask, only now realizing that that wasn't living. It was all a lie. He popped in some bread into the toaster before pulling out plates. If he were to look them in the eye and showed all of the broken things inside, would they run away? If they saw the darkest parts and all of the wicked things inside of his heart, would they leave? He knew full well that he had insecurities. When you're feeling insecure, even tiny little wounds that might seem laughable to others, those can feel like deep, fatal wounds to you. And that's exactly how it felt to Iwazumi. As he finished setting up the table, the three baristas emerged from their bedroom. What's that smell? He rubbed his eyes, biting back a yawn. I made breakfast. Iwa-chan! Oikawa jumped from his half-asleep self upon seeing Iwazumi and his sleeper holding up a spatula. Iwa-chan? He gives everyone nicknames for everyone. Don't mind him. That's awfully mean, Mr. Refreshing. Wow, that's an ancient one. Haven't heard that since high school. He chuckled deeply with his morning voice still in full swing, making Iwazumi a blushing mess. If he keeps this up, he'll be caught in no time. Although it is nice not cooking for once. I usually do the cooking. I can't cook to save my life. I ended up burning water last time I cooked. That and Kawa almost burned down the house and store last time he cooked. Iwazumi laughed, seeing Oikawa flush. I thought we agreed not to speak of that again. Come on, Toru. You know that we will never let you live that down. Oh yeah? Well, what about that one time you jumped on top of a fridge whenever you saw a bug? Daichi gasped. That was a mortifying experience. Don't rub salt in the wound. Well, Koshi got stupid drunk one night and woke up on the roof. Why are you dragging me into this? Listening to all of these stories and each other's reactions to it all, Iwazumi smiled and couldn't help but laugh until his sides hurt. They were so beautiful. Daichi's overall protective aura, and the way his eyes would crinkle whenever he smiled, his humor, and those thighs. Oikawa's sassy personality, the way he could lighten up any mood with that breathtaking smile of his, and how goofy he could be one second, and the next, he would be willing to fight the entire world for you. And Sugawara's beauty and grace, and the way that he would care for you, so delicately, like they would crumble if they were touched the wrong way, and his considerate and beautiful personality made it magical. Looking at it now, they fit so well, so perfect together. He wanted to be selfish and stay with them, keep this moment lasting forever. But he couldn't. For now, he will keep his feelings locked away, for no one, not even him, to see. It was better this way. Less painful. I appreciate everything you three have done for me. You did it all, even though you really didn't have to. Oikawa placed his hand on top of the shoulders. We did because we care. There it was again. That sharp pain in his chest. It means a lot. I wasn't sure what I was going to do last night. I wasn't expecting on facing my past so soon, and while I was ready, it still hurt. It turned out to be a bit more emotional than I thought. He laughed nervously, not even sure where this was going. Thank you. While all of the thanks in the world wasn't enough, he left it at that. The fact you trust us enough to be yourself and tell us is enough, and we will do our best to make sure that trust stays. We are here for you. He smiled, acknowledging their honesty. I have to get going. All of my school stuff is at home. Do you need a ride? Iwazumi smiled. Nah, don't worry about it. You have a store to open soon anyways. The barista handed him his clothes that were now dry and clean for him to change into. After that, he left. Whether it was the last time he'll step into their home or not, he was thankful for everything and will never forget those loving moments of feeling like he belonged. Once he stepped outside, the crisp morning air stung his cheeks. Fall was ending soon, and with that, winter would begin. That was fun. I'm honestly super in love and proud of this 3-shot. The third part will be released tomorrow, and I do warn, that is going to be so angsty, and it is also going to be including a lot of trigger warnings, which I do recommend that you look at the intro and description just in case. For the second day of the fall marathon, today's question is pumpkin pie or apple pie? I know the Kimakinis are about to attack me in the comments. Again, this is completely optional. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like to be kept up to date, check out any of my social medias. I hope that you all have a wonderful day or evening.